Morning. We'd like to welcome you all to the Teen Leadership track of the 2021 Teens as Teachers Conference. My name is Steve McKinley. I'm a 4-H Extension Specialist at Purdue's campus, working in the areas of leadership and volunteerism, and it's my pleasure to help facilitate this morning's session, but also have some outstanding presenters that are going to be leading you through the activities today. So with me to present today, we have Kathleen Bodie. Kathleen is a 4-H Extension educator in Hamilton County. We also have Cheryl Castleman joining us from Sullivan County. Cheryl is a 4-H educator there. And then we have Katie Whiteford joining us from Clark County. Katie is a 4-H educator down near Louisville, Kentucky, but still in Indiana, so we'll claim her. But I do want to thank you for being a part of our program this morning. We know that you're joining us in various locations from around the state. We have 7 teams that are joining us today from 7 different counties, and that's exciting to be able to have that group with us today. Also want to take a moment to thank you for participating in our 3 Tuesday evening general sessions we held in February. We hope that those sessions have provided you with a baseline of information that will help you as you deliver your presentations, as you think about how you're going to organize yourselves as teen teachers in the coming months and year ahead. So we're looking forward to that. If you happen to miss any of those or want to do some refreshers on those, they are all recorded, and so you can look at those on the 4-H website at any time. Today, though, we are going to focus specifically on teen leadership. And so by the time that we're done today, you'll have a series of activities that you'll be able to go out and teach to your communities. And so we're excited for you to be able to participate in that way, and looking forward to the chance we're going to get to interact a little bit for the next 2.5 hours or so. Couple of logistics for the program, just so you're all aware. We are recording the program this morning so that you can go back and again refresh your memories of things that might have happened. So we would encourage you to know that. With that, please keep your microphone muted, if you would please, unless you're trying to talk to us. That way that'll help cut down on some of the background noise that we have. Would encourage you to pull up your chat and also your participant list. That way it'll let us interact a little bit more effectively via the Zoom call, and you'll also be doing some things on your local sites or at home, wherever you might be today. And of course, as always, remember this is a 4-H event, and so we're going to just behave appropriately, as I know that you will. We're not too worried about that for you, so that's good to know. Here are the topics that we're going to be covering today, the topics that we'll be looking at in the next couple of hours. One is what's in a name. Cheryl will be leading us through that. Katie's going to take us through civic engagement and talking about how your voice matters. Cheryl will come back and take us through a paper plate collage activity. And then Kathleen will wrap us up with choose your cause as we talk about serving. So by the end of today's sessions, you're going to have information that you'll need to lead those different activities. Additional resources are on the website, or also been given to you by your adult mentor or your 4-H educator, and we're excited that you're able, again, to be with us today. After the first couple of activities, we will have about a 10-minute stretch break, so kind of plan that into your morning. But if you need to get up, obviously do that as you need to throughout the day. It is my pleasure at this point to introduce to you Cheryl Castleman, and Cheryl was going to get us started with our first activity. So good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning. It's Saturday. Woohoo! And we'll get through the morning, and then I'm looking forward to going on a walk outside after this. It's sunny where I am, so I am really happy to be with you all this morning. And we're so lucky to be able to do this virtually, and we're going to learn new things through that as well. So always learning together as leaders. So what the activity we're going to do is called What's in a Name? And it's going to be, we're going to try this on the fly here on how we can go around and have everyone introduce themselves. And I think it might be best if I call on the Zoom, like I'll say what I see on the Zoom name, and then however many people are there, we'll just let you go, around the room or down the table or however that works. So here's how we do this. So if we were in person, we would form a large circle, and this might be a neat activity to do during roll call. If you wanted to start there in a 4-H meeting or some some type of event that you would do, find out who's there. So on a Zoom call, we're just going to call on each person. So if we were in a hybrid meeting, it would be a good idea for you to kind of think through who you're going to call on in person and not leave the people on virtual as, you know, first or last, maybe mix it up among the people who are there and who are on virtual. So that's maybe a good tip. So there's a story behind each of our names. Next slide. There's a story behind each of our names, and this activity will give us a chance to share some of that information. The directions are: say your full name, first, middle, and last, and then explain why you were given that name, and then share any ethnic origin of your name. So I'll go first. So my name is Cheryl Lynn Castleman. And when I was a child, my grandparents lived in Florida, and there was a hotel named the Sherry Lynn Hotel. So when I was a very young child, I was called, my nickname was Sherry, and now, but then I don't really even remember being called Sherry. So it was very early. And then Castleman, the name Castleman is German, from German descent, and my grandfather is from Canada, and there is a town with the name of Castleman in Canada that I would like to visit someday. So Steve, you may have to help me on, actually we can go away from the slides now because I can't see who's here. So we could have Johnson County.
There you go. That works.
Does Johnson County, let's go first and just have someone in your group go first and go around the room. Johnson is the one that, okay, Heather is the one where we weren't sure. Okay, let's go to Dallas. Okay, the next person I see is Dallas. So let's go to 4-Hers in Dallas's county.
Newton County.
First, middle, and last. Okay. First, middle, and last name.
I'm David. David Barton Hamilton. My parents called me David because my grandma really wanted a boy to name it David. So, and then my last name originated from Germany. That's really it.
And I'm Cecilia Marie Martyr. My mom named me Slick. She really loved that name, thought it was really beautiful. And Martyr is, I think, a Lithuanian name. So my dad's side is from Lithuania.
And then Savannah Nyberg is actually on our team as well.
Okay, Savannah, you want to go next?
Savannah's here. We're not able to turn on the video for some reason. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are. We see you now. Hi, Savannah.
Hi.
If you could,
my name is, yes. My name is Savannah Rose Nyberg, and that was named after a flower. And then Nyberg is Swedish. And that's what Nyberg, that is Swedish.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, I see Abby Morgan. I see you are next on my screen.
Alrighty, my name is Morgan Christine Swick. I don't really know where they got the Morgan from, but my mom's name is Christy, so that's where the Christine came from. And then Swick is a German name.
I'm Jenna Rose Bashong, and my parents named me Jenna because my grandma was named Jean, so they just switched a couple letters around there. And my last name originated in England. That's all we have, Cheryl.
Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. Wes Richardson is the next one I see.
Oh wait, here. If I start this, is it gonna be? Where's it gonna be? Towards me? Yeah. Here, wait. What are you trying to do?
We see you. Awesome. Who wants to start?
My name is Jasmine Gale Weaver. My mom had a dream that she named me Jasmine, so that's how I got my first name. My middle name is Gail, and I got that from my grandma. My last name is Weaver, and I actually got that from my great grandpa that died before I was born. That's it.
Looks like you froze up on us. Try again, Ben County. Try again.
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm Cassandra May Burgett. Cassandra May only because my parents like that, and Burgett is from somewhere in Europe.
Okay, my name is Ava Catherine Sayer. Ava from the actress Ava Gardner, and then Sayer is German.
My name's Hannah Marie Wolpe. My parents just really like that name, and Wolpe is a German last name.
Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, good job. Thank you. Kathleen, I see your Zoom next.
I think, Cheryl, we may want to skip over Kathleen right now. Oh, there she is. She's
Okay. Oh,
sorry, I'm hopping around to 3 different tracks this morning, making sure everybody's technology is working, and we have a sound issue in the Ag Innovation. But my name is Kathleen Modi, and I have been in Extension for 18 years, and I'm excited to be part of today.
awesome. Thanks, Kathleen. And then Effie.
Hi, I'm the 4-H educator from DeKalb County. I have 2 of my kids with me right now, Jonathan Buss and Lauren Brown. So I'll let them introduce themselves.
Yep. Jonathan, you want to go first and then Lauren?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jonathan Buss. I'm named after my dad, and our last name comes from England.
Lauren?
Hi, my name is Lauren Ray Brown. My first name, my mom just really liked it, and then my middle name was my grandpa's middle name. They just turned it to the girl version of Ray. And then my last name comes from Germany. It was Braun, and then they changed it when they came over through Ellis Island.
Very cool. Okay, the next one I see is Wade.
My name is Kira Savannah King. Kira and Savannah, my parents just both really liked, and at first they had it as Savannah Kira, and then they decided that didn't flow well, and so they made it Kira Savannah, and then King comes from somewhere in England.
Oh, I'll go. My name is Brianna Sky Page, and Brianna Sky my parents liked, and I have no clue where my last name comes from.
My name is Lauren Christine Patterson, and my sister really liked the name Lauren, so that's where I got that. Christine was my grandma's name, and then Patterson came somewhere out of Europe.
Okay, is that everybody? Okay,
we can go back to
Katie.
Sorry, we can go back to Johnson at some point. Looks like their guys have come.
Oh, okay. Katie, do you have 4-Hers with you or on? No, okay. Okay, back, well, let's say Clinton County is who I see next.
Hi, my name's Mary Catherine Elizabeth Dunderman. Most people call me Katie. Mary Catherine is saints' names, and my parents didn't think they were going to have any more kids, so they used all 3 of their potential names on me. Elizabeth is a family name, and Dunderman is German and Belgian. It means thunder. So.
Cool. Cool. Thank you. Okay, back to Johnson County. Who wants to start? We're saying our first, middle, and last name and where our name came from and any origins of your name.
Okay, my name is Joshua Santos. So my first name came from basically the Bible. My parents liked the character of Joshua in the Bible, so they named me after him. My middle name, I don't remember what it means, but my middle and last name are from Southern India.
My name is Elisha Santos. My first name came from the Bible. My last 2 names came from India.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, did I miss anyone? I can't believe if I didn't. Did I miss anyone?
I have a cool name story. I know I got tipped because I don't have any team.
Okay, Katie, go for it.
My name is Katie Marie, and I'm going to use my maiden name because it's way cooler. Caruntia, and luckily my dad picked my name because my mom wanted Hillary Eloise, and I don't know that fits my personality, but it is just Katie and not Catherine or anything else, and Caruntia is Italian.
You're right, that's a cool story. All right, thanks everybody. We learned a lot. That is something that can help us with, so if you're just meeting people, then it can help with conversation in the future, or, you know, when you're first meeting them, you may have, that just leads to other questions that you might ask or some similarities you have. Like my last name is German. I heard several people say their origin, theirs came from Germany. So maybe we would talk about that. So that it's good conversation starters, as well as everybody likes to share something about themselves. So what did we learn about the importance of names and why names are so important to us? Somebody share something about what an idea that came to you while you were hearing everyone introduce themselves. What did we learn about the importance of names? Anybody just unmute and talk.
All names that people said all have like an origin story, and most of them come passed down through family.
That's I noticed that too. There were a lot of people that were named after grandparents or had some family origin. Good point. That's an awesome point. So we would, when we do this, when we teach this, then have that follow-up discussion and get people continue to talk, as well as in order, I think we're right on time here, to sum it up. So next slide.
And Cheryl, we had one response in the chat that Lauren says we all have a story. I think that's a good point too.
Absolutely. Lauren, that's an excellent point. Remembering that we all have a story and asking people for their stories to get to know them better. So names are important because they have to do with who we are as people, and asking others to give us their names is often the first step we take towards getting to know someone better. So this activity is in your information that you've received, so that you will be able to teach it back. This You'll learn more about what we call teach backs, but this is an activity that you will be able to choose as a teach back when we get to that on another day. And you'll be able to, this is one that you can just pull out of your toolbox, toolbox to use on the fly, or because you really don't need any materials. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Cheryl. Good job. And yeah, as Cheryl mentioned, as we go through each of these activities today, be thinking about ones that you really kind of relate to or that you really like, things that you would like to present. You'll be able to present all these at some point, but we are going to ask you to pick one to present back to us in what we call the teach back here in a couple of weeks. So be thinking about which one of these activities you would like to do with a team. You can do it with your teammates. That's not a problem at all, but just kind of be keeping that in the back of your mind as you go. So Cheryl, thank you. And Katie, I'll swing it over to you now.
Okay. So I'm going to be talking about civic engagement part of our leadership track. And the first thing you're going to need out is that group rule sheet. So I have mine with me. It looks like this. So we're going to need to find that paper. And we're going to talk about the government is us. And these curriculum items are from Michigan State Extension. So we want to make sure that we recognize their efforts in creating this material. And so that's why their logo is on my slides during our session. So the first thing you want to do, and for some of you who may not be in the same room, we might have to get creative here, but the first thing we want to do is find a representative in your group. So you want to elect someone who's going to be your entire group rule maker. So if we're at home and not together in our group, we may have to get more creative with that. But for all of you that are together, I want you to take about 2 seconds and select one person in your group that's going to be your group rule maker. And that rule sheet, I can see some of you still looking for it. That's from the Government is Us, and it's on the back of one of those sheets. And it has just a bunch of lines with different numbers beside them. If you can't find it or you don't have it, you just need a piece of paper. You can do the same thing with just a simple piece of paper. Okay, so everyone needs that group representative, and once you have them, they're going to get different rules than everybody else. I'm just kind of watching the screen to make sure everyone's ready. Okay, so that group representative needs to come up with 5 rules for your Teens as Teachers team. So they can be any rules they want, but they need to be rules for the entire group that they think are going to be important for your group to be successful. So whoever your team elected representative is, they need to come up with 5 rules for your team. And then the rest of you need to come up with your own rules as well. So these might be rules that you think are important, but this is not going to be for the whole group. This is going to be your own opinion or your own thoughts on what your rules should be. So that group representative that you elected needs to quickly write 5 rules out for your entire group. And everyone else needs to come up with 5 rules for your group that you want or feel that need to be voiced that are important. So I'll give everyone a few minutes to figure out what your rules are going to be. Don't share them with each other yet. This is our own personal thoughts and opinions. So keep those to yourself and come up with 5 rules. And I myself am bouncing back like Kathleen between sessions and things. So if I sound out of breath, it's because I was running from the other room to get over here, and that's okay. Me and Kathleen both have had some weird technical things happening today, but that's okay. It's part of the Zoom excitement. So we'll get there. Right, everyone's still writing, so I'm going to give people some time. Once you have finished your rules, the representative needs to find
needs to announce their rules to everyone. So please read your 5 designated rules that you think are good for the group, and only the representative needs to share those right now. So once the representative is ready, please read those to your group, and we'll see how your group reacts to those rules you've created for them. So once that leader that you elected or your representative you've chosen for your group has the rules ready, they can share those within the group. We'll see how your reactions are to their choices. And once your representative has given you the rules that they came with, I want you to pick one from your list of 5 that you feel should be added to their list. So you may not just agree with all of their rules that they've come up with. So please, if you are not the representative, find one item from your list that you feel should be added to the representatives. And how many do we have that are by themselves? Would you like to be put together so you can talk with others in your group? We can definitely do that.
It's like we've got a couple that are that way, so we can do that.
Yeah, if we have some singles, we can put them out together in a breakout room so they can have their rule discussion for sure. Can do that real quick for a couple
Can you make a breakout room for DeKalb? Thank you.
Yep, we're going to work on DeKalb and Newton, looks like.
So I was trying to decide who was together and who wasn't together. Again, so once that representative has their rules, they should be sharing them with the group, and Steve's going to work on some breakout rooms for those that are separated. And then you can share one rule that you feel needs to be added to your group rules that you may feel that the group representative missed, or it needs to be importantly added to your group rules.
Okay, I'm going to open the rooms. We should have room 1 and 2. You guys can join. That'll be Newton and DeKalb counties. The rest can just stay where you are. Just keep yourselves muted as you talk amongst yourselves. Let's see, Savannah, if you get a chance to join room 2, you'll find Dallas and the rest of the team there for you. And Nolan, we're going to move you to room number 1 here with DeKalb County. So here you go. Should have an invitation to join the rest of your teammates in room 1.
Just give everyone one more minute. It looks like a couple groups are still discussing and some are still writing. So we want to make sure everyone gets a chance to get their voice out there on what rules they want for their group. Okay, it looks like we can have everyone come back if they haven't already. Looks like they're doing okay. So after hearing your representative's rules, oh, Steve said, wait, they're still waiting on people. Come back. And the next activity we can do, doesn't matter where you are, you'll be able to participate on your screen. So we'll be okay there. Is everyone back? Not yet, okay. I don't see the breakout box anymore, so I wasn't sure.
About 30 seconds on the last room.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're back.
All right. Okay, so after listening to your representative rules and being able to voice one of your rules that you created to add to the list, does anyone in the group feel they needed to elect a new representative? And if you feel that way, you can hit the raise your hand button on there, or you can make a comment in the chat, or however you want to do that. But just curious if anyone feels like they didn't agree with their representative that was chosen for their group. We're going to talk about why that's important here in a second. So, and we can go on to the next section here. And this is where everyone is going to be able to annotate. So if you guys need to have someone operating on the screen, we're going to go through these 4 reflection questions, and there's going to be a space on the slide where you can annotate and put your own thoughts. If you agree with another comment, you can put a star or a heart or something else on there. With that. So on the next slide will be our first question of reflection. And at the top of your screen, you'll be able to find the annotate feature. So if someone wants to operate that for your group, there is a text or a draw again, or there are some fun stamps that you can add to your annotation, but you can click your text box on the screen and you can type how you felt you selected your representative. So we want to see what the different choices were out there, but why did you choose that person in your group to be your rule maker or your representative for the group rule process? And so even if you're not in the same room, this is your own opinion. So that's totally fine. And you can put that up on the screen and why you felt you selected that person as your representative. Is it because they're the group leader? Is it because they've been teens as teachers before? Why did you pick them to be your group leader? And you can put those up on the screen with your annotate, or you can type those in the chat. But we kind of want to see you guys up on the screen. So you can share why you picked that person to be your representative quickly and type those on there. If you're not sure how to get to that part, it's at the very top. Okay, so somebody didn't want to be the representative. That's a good reason. We don't want people to take a role if they're not interested in doing that. That's for sure. The oldest and wisest team member was chosen in one group. Okay. Okay. Some different methods to choosing your representative for sure. Let's check out the chat. Some of you were chosen by your team. Did anyone campaign to be the representative? Was anyone dying to be your group representative? Someone volunteered. Okay, same thing. They were campaigning to be the group leader. Okay, that's good. All right, what's our next question? To clear that. Okay, so what did you feel the job of the representative was? Because I just had you elect someone and then I told you what their paper scissors is how they chose what the job was for that representative. So what do you feel the job of the representative was? I said they had to make 5 group rules, but in your head, did you feel that the representative had a more important job for the group? I just said they had to make 5 rules. I didn't say that was all the representative was for. Some of you pick them out of somebody who wanted to volunteer and do it. Some of you chose them because they were the oldest or the wisest for some of you. Some of you didn't, they voted on them. So what do you think the job was for that representative besides that they're important, the leadership part? Setting standards for the group. And they had felt they would make rules that benefit the group as a whole. So you were choosing that representative because you felt they would make the best decision for everyone. So that is super important when we're picking representatives, definitely. Okay, what about our next question?
Got a couple in the chat too, Katie.
Okay.
Talking about voicing opinions of the group and then to make the best choices for group rules.
So listen to others. A leader, they took input from others. So they took the rules that you gave them into consideration. That's a good one too. That's important that they're listening to what we have to say, for sure. Make the best choices for the group. Good.
Okay, ready to go on?
Yeah.
Clear that.
That's the part I forget, is clearing the board. Okay, so did you feel that your communication was good? And some of you have already mentioned that. Did you feel like your representative listened to your ideas, or do you feel like they did not have any interest in adding your rules to the list? So when you were working with your group representative, did you feel that they were open to your ideas, or do you feel like they were hesitant to add that to their list? And hopefully nobody made any eye rolls or bad comments as a representative to your rules. Everyone's saying, yes, they are our leader. They definitely listened. They were all listening. That's good. That's funny.
Especially good when your older brother listens to you.
Yeah.
That's important.
It's not very common. Good. Yeah, so it is important that our representatives that we choose are listening and have open communication with us. The trust, that's a good word to put in there. We trust each other's opinions. That's really good. That's an important part to have in our communication with our group and our representatives, for sure. They knew they didn't have all the answers. Awesome comment. That's true. Nobody does. And so it's good that while we may have a representative for a group, that they are listening to feedback and opinions of everyone else that they're representing. That's awesome. Right. Let's see any more, Steve, unless you do. Move on. Oops. Just trying to see there. We have one more. Okay, so we were talking about representatives and why it's important to have that communication. We choose representatives and we elect these people to represent our thoughts, opinions, our goals, what we'd like to see on our local, state, or national level, which is why we are operating in a democracy. And so we are choosing these people that will hopefully voice the same opinions that we have, or the same beliefs and thoughts to push through to make sure that we are living in a community or an area that is helping us flourish and satisfy everything that we need to be successful. So we're going to move on to one more civic engagement activity. And this one, hopefully you have something, whether it's Post-it notes or index cards, to write down some words on so we can play our next game, which is easily be teach back if you wanted to as well, but we're hoping you can have some type of 5 pieces of paper, index cards, or Post-it notes to write the words that are bulleted here on the slide. So you're having one that says strongly agree, you have no opinion, disagree, or strongly disagree. So I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to write those 5 cards out. They should have 5 different answers. So strongly agree on one, agree, no opinion, disagree, and strongly disagree. So it's rather index cards or whatever you have available, because those are going to be an important part of our next activity to keep you interactive and get your opinion, obviously, is what we're going to be working on. So this is the agree to disagree information that you got for this section and the handouts that were sent to you. Yes, each person creates their own card. So we want everyone to have their own opinion in the group, And so everyone's going to need their own 5 cards. Good question. And again, this is the agree to disagree section of the civic engagement created curriculum by Michigan State Extension. And we're going to play this game that's talking about expressing our opinions. And we can relate this back to our own public policies and things that are going on, and how it's okay to have your own opinion and no, it does not have to be the same as your group. Sometimes it's not even the same as your family, and that's okay. It's all right to have your own voice. So I'll give everyone a few minutes to fill those out. All right, are we ready? Looks like just trying to see if everyone's done writing in their group. Everyone's kind of looking at the screen. All right, well, we'll kind of go on to the rules. So you still have a few more minutes to write them out if you don't have them done. So we're going to play agree to disagree, and we're going to have just a few ground rules like we just talked about making before. For this game, we want to make sure everyone's respectful. So we're not going to bash each other's opinions about the topics that we're having discussion on. We're going to listen to each other's opinions. We're going to remain open and non-judgmental, and then be sensitive to your group members. So some people may have an opinion because they've had a personal experience with something. These are not that serious of questions today, but when you are having discussions with agree to disagree, some people may have a personal experience that you don't even know about. So we just need to be respectful and sensitive to our team members. Okay, looks like everyone is ready. So we will go on to the first scenario here. We'll play number 1. So vending machines with pop should be banned from public schools. So I want you to hold up your opinion. Do you agree, disagree? No opinion. All right, you can put it up there. Do you feel like, looks like some of you in the group are in sync with each other? And remember, we did it on cards, so you can't really see each other's opinion up close. So that's good. All right, disagree. A lot of disagrees I see out there. So we shouldn't ban pop from schools, it looks like. People need that throughout the day, maybe. All right, let's move on to number 2. A student who misses more than a normal number of school days should be denied a driver's license. So what do we think about that? If we're missing a lot of school, should your state allow that student to have a license? Well, we've got some strongly disagrees out there on this one. Disagrees. All right, so something to think about is we don't know why kids are missing school so much. There are a lot of reasons why kids miss school. Okay, sometimes it's not because they oversleep and don't want to go. Sometimes there's a more serious situation going on out there. Oh, they have an agree in Johnson County. I want to make sure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So that's good though. We want everyone to have a different opinion. That's true. Okay, number 3, there should be a law that requires bicyclists under the age of 16 to wear a helmet. So if you're riding on the sidewalk, which you should not be doing, or following street guidelines and riding the correct way with traffic, and you're not over 16, should you have a helmet on? Agree. Agrees. No opinion. We don't care about that helmet. What else? Okay. What about everyone over 16? Our brains don't matter anymore. If I fall off and hit my head, I'm 32. I care about my brain. I don't know if they should make me wear a helmet or not, but I see different opinions out there. Very good. Okay. The government should give subsidies or contributions of money to farmers. So you feel like the government should be giving out subsidies or contributions of monies to farmers. It doesn't say what the situation is. It just says, should they be giving out contributions of money to farmers? Agree. Strongly agree. This is a 4-H group, so I'm curious if I did this with a non-4-H group, what that opinion would be. Okay, we're living in that agricultural world, a lot of us. All right. Very good, guys. I like that everyone in the group had the same opinion. And not everyone in our whole teams today had the same opinion. So that's really great. All right, we should have some reflection quick before we end this session. Okay. What did you think about as you were making your decision? So you can go ahead and annotate again on the screen or type it in the chat. But as you were making your decisions on those questions or scenarios, what were you thinking about? And again, we covered a lot of different areas, some healthy living in there. I put a little bit of agricultural government funding in there. So what were you thinking about when you were making your decision? Right, there wasn't a lot of information on any of those, right? There's a lot of background that we probably needed to make a clear decision. Personal experience, knowledge level, that's a good one. If someone's been hurt on a bike before, they probably are strongly agree with the helmet. It's a good one. The health and well-being of others. Thinking of your neighbors, not just you and your family. Personal experiences. If it mattered to you personally, that's a big one for people and making decisions and what they're voting on or choosing to do or not to do. If it's going to actually affect them, that's a big one. Good. Let's see what's in the chat. Being mindful of other situations. A lot of those. That's a good one. All right. Is there another debrief question on there? Make sure you guys see all the information too. Okay, so were you with the same people on every issue? So people in your group, did you feel like you guys had the same opinions every time? Do you feel like it was okay to have a different opinion in your group? Were you the only person in your group every time that had a different opinion? How did you feel about that? So were you the same with the same people every time on that issue? Or were you kind of like that loner? I was the only one who felt this way. What's your reflection thoughts on that one? Some of you, I mean, a lot of your groups look like you guys did not share the same opinion. So that's good. It's good to have your own voice. It's kind of why we did those cards, so you can't see each other's thoughts right away. So did you feel you were the same people? So close to the same, totally different, agreed on some, but not all of them. Okay, good comment there. Similar backgrounds, so it can make for similar opinions. That's true. The bicycle one was the only issue you didn't agree on. Okay. Another one. I like the background one. That's a good thought though. Similar backgrounds lead to similar opinions. That's true. Okay, is there another one? Were there any issues for which everyone had the same? And I think Montgomery County hit on that. They did, except for bikes. So they all felt the same except for their bikes. Are there any of them that everyone in the group had the same opinion? Or was there one that, like Montgomery County said we did, but one? Everyone should be in a similar age group besides maybe our team leaders or volunteers. So that's a factor too in our opinions for sure. Everyone had the same but the vending machines. Okay. The only one was the vending machine. Okay. Vending machine's a hot topic. I think they even took them out of my school at one point when I was in high school. So I think that's been a topic for a while. At least one person in our group had a different opinion every time. Okay. Very good. All right. What else? Vending machine, hot topic. All right, is there another one? Are we good? Oh, last one. Okay, why is understanding that there are different sides to an issue an important part of citizenship? So this is kind of our wrap up to the whole day of civic engagement, because we had those elected representatives that we wanted to help us make rules for the group. And then we played agree to disagree to see where our group stood on issues. So why is it why is understanding that there are different sides an important part of that citizenship? There's one down here. Everyone's gonna have a different opinion, so you have to be open-minded with those differences and opinions so you can work together. That's definitely true. To learn from each other, to learn how to disagree respectfully. These might be issues that come up in your team. You may agree or disagree on what teach back you want to do, who's going to be in charge of what part of your teach back. So this is also part of learning how to work together. The different backgrounds plays a factor for sure, and everyone's experiences. Mutual respect strengthens the group, and having different opinions is totally okay. You want to hear all sides of a topic and try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Issues are too complex to just be one-sided. It's true. I'll agree with that one. All right. You guys did great participating virtually. That is awesome. Understand that the other side of every situation helps you emphasize with the other side. Okay. So remember, having your own opinion, expressing your thoughts is a great way to deal with problem solving. So you may come up with those problems within your Teens as Teachers team. You may be looking for places to present. We're going to hit some barriers a little bit still with some COVID safety and other things. So it is a great way to problem solve, is to work together and listen to each other's opinions, and never be afraid to voice your opinion, because your voice does count. In your handouts, I just wanted to make sure that everyone saw the current public policy issues for agree to disagree. There are some more examples that you can definitely use when utilizing this activity, or you can totally come up with your own, which is also great, because local issues or different things you want to discuss and get opinions on, that is a great way to do it, playing this game, because it's a non-confrontational, should be, activity to do with your group. So after this, I think we are on to our break slide, maybe, Steve? I'm not sure. Yes, it is our 10-minute break. So you can stretch, communicate with your group members, get some feedback going and some sharing among your group on how you feel so far about the day. Take care of any other business you have. And 11:05 is our return time to Zoom.
And
Thanks,
what I will do is I will open back up the rooms in case DeKalb and Newton, if you want to talk with each other, you can while we're on break. So I'll open those rooms again for you.
Thanks, Steve.
We'll see you in a moment. We'll start back here in about 2 minutes. You got about 2 minutes left. Thanks. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you got a little discussion done and a little bit of a break in there. Got a couple of activities left to go. And so we're going to start next with Cheryl. Are you back and ready? There she is. Perfect.
Okay, this is where the paper plate collage, you will need some supplies. So hopefully you have paper plates. So we're getting out our supplies and we're going to do this activity together. So paper plates and magazines. You need scissors and glue. And you can use tape as well, whatever you have. And then you might need some drawing supplies like markers or pencils or pens. So everybody get out your supplies. So this crafty activity encourages people to describe some of their interests, talents, and personal characteristics. So next slide. So we are going to take the magazines or any type of information that you might have. I even had like catalogs, or you might have like just anything, like a Sam's flyer that comes in the mail, like anything that you can find that has pictures or words on it. Just put that in a pile for when for this activity. So what we are going to do is look through the magazines and find things about us. And if you can't find pictures, then do words. And I will show you mine. And it might be really hard to see, but my name is Cheryl, and I actually found an ad for Cheryl's Cookies. So I found my name and put it on the top. And then I have pictures of, I like to read. So I have the word read. I just cut out some letters. I like to listen to music. I like to hunt for mushrooms. I like to go camping, and I like to exercise. So you get the idea. And then I'm also a photographer, and I couldn't find a camera. So I just drew, I took a pen and just drew a camera on my sheet. So you all can go ahead and start if you'd like. I'll go ahead and explain some things. So as we're doing this with youth, we want to look for things that have to do with the following: places that you like, people who are important to you, foods that you like, things that you are good at doing, things that you would like to be able to do, or just anything that you like. And I found it easiest when I did mine. I did not, you can do whatever you want, and the kids can do whatever they want when you're doing it with them. But I found it best to cut out all of my things and then not glue them down right away, but to kind of place them around so that I knew how much space I had. And I also kind of ahead of time, before I looked through the magazines, I kind of thought through what I would hope to find. And then that way you just kind of keep on track a little better. So are there any questions so far as you get going? Everybody got it? And then go ahead and talk. I mean, you guys just hang out and do these. We'll give you some time to complete your paper plates, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about them a little bit. The plates that you designed today will be used when so one of the things that you want to do is be able to have something to show when you're doing this with a group. So whatever you do today, you'll already be one step further along to do this activity when you do it with your groups. Steve, we should have thought to have some awesome music playing right now.
That would have been a good idea. They can sing to themselves, right? Does that work?
Yeah. Let's sing camp songs while we look at magazines.
I'll let you lead, Cheryl.
Nobody wants that.
I've seen a couple of really awesome TikTok videos where they do sea shanties as a group, and everyone's a thumbnail and they all time it together and whatnot. Kind of looks neat.
Oh, awesome. Let's do about 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes on doing your collage, please.
Cheryl, some of these look like they're really getting into it. I'm excited to see what they're going to look like here in a few minutes.
I have to say, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I really think it's good. Yeah.
I think the students and even the
I know, I can't wait.
I think even the adults will enjoy it if they teach to an adult group. I think that would be interesting, as well as the kids.
That's a good point. Right. Yeah, it's good. I can also see it hanging, like it would be something we could hang in our room and just have
Absolutely.
as a piece of art. I did find that I like the more flimsy, not like the more flat paper plates rather than those hefty ones, because it just had a little more room. But I could also see how you could get creative with those who had edges. So it's just depends on what you want.
Options are always a good thing.
Choices are good.
Depends on what you have available, where you can find it.
Right. It could even be like a piece of paper or a cardstock.
Or could, yes. Would you have to rename it though? Instead of paper plate collage, would you have to rename it to cardstock collage? Or would that matter?
To many of us, no, that would not matter.
Okay, perfect.
I could even see like what I was saying, the examples of what we're looking for, places you like to go. I could do a whole paper plate just on places I want to go. We could divide this out into a whole, we could have a series of collages. Okay, let's come back for some discussion. So you can keep working on your collages, but I'm going to take maybe about 5 people will volunteer to share 1 or 2 things that about your collage. Who wants to go first? Share your collage, what you have so far, and 1 or 2 things about your collage, which really means about yourself. Get it? Okay, go ahead. I see a hand on Dallas Howard's Zoom. David, I think, right?
Yes. Okay. There it is. It's great. I don't know if you can see it really well. Okay, cool. All right, so I got a bird here. That represents my farm I have. I got birds in my farm. Great. And I got some ice cream because we always make milkshakes and they're really bad, but they taste good in my opinion. And the food represents McDonald's because I love McDonald's. I mean, who doesn't? And then I got the Dino Nuggies because Dino Nuggies are the best. And then I got a barn for my favorite movie, Wizard of Oz. And then, what's the other one? Oh, wait, that's it. I was trying to find all these pictures.
I feel like I know you much better now, David. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Love it. Perfect. Okay, who wants to go next? Clinton County is what your Zoom says.
So this is mine. It's kind of blurry. I have lots of nature stuff on there because I like nature, and passport because I like to travel, and music stuff because I'm into music. So
You sing or music or instrument? Sing?
yes, I do both, but singing mostly.
So what do you play?
Guitar, piano, and tuba.
Oh my goodness. Lots of talent in this Zoom. Okay, awesome. Who wants to go third? Okay, I see 2 hands in Wade's Zoom. Go for it.
Okay, so I'll go first. This is mine. And I did the plants because I want to become a florist. I did the Eggo waffles because I like Stranger Things. And then I did the Starbucks because I like Starbucks.
And then this is mine. So there's a guitar right here to represent country music because I love country music. There's some yarn because I can crochet and I'm crafty. And then here's a cat up here because I love cats and they're my favorite animal.
Awesome job, everybody. Okay, one more. Who wants to go? Jonathan, go for it.
Okay, so this is mine. It's got my name. Strawberries, because I like strawberries. Smoothie, because I like smoothies. Books, because I like to read. Stanley, because I like Marvel. And a little deer, because I like hunting.
Looking good. All right. Okay, now we have, thanks for sharing, everybody, and thanks for participating in this. I think it's something that we can learn about when you're in a group. You're also talking with each other and sharing what you're putting on your collages as you put them together. So, and it's also a great thing to do at home by yourself, just to enjoy going through. Just don't pick magazines that your family hasn't been through yet, because if they pick up a magazine and haven't seen it and see all those holes, they might not be happy, right?
Or dad's
Okay,
newspaper or something like that.
so-
Hey, Cheryl, did you notice
There you go, yeah.
Katie's sisters are doing this right now and they're loving it, she says. So that's exciting. Good job. See, she's
Oh,
already
good.
teaching. She's already teaching. This is awesome. Well done. Sorry, go ahead, Cheryl.
Woo! Getting started right away. No, thank you. I did not see that. Yes, good. So we already have feedback that it's a good activity. Okay, good. So So every time we do an activity, whenever we're teaching, we want to have that follow-up discussion to see what everybody learned and see what, just to be able to share if anybody had aha moments. So we're going to ask, how did you decide what pictures or images to include? How did you, what was the process that you did on how to decide? Was it maybe just what was available to you? Or did you think through what you hoped to find and kind of look for certain things? Or did you just kind of pick whatever you happen to see? Okay, what about if you were looking, oh, wait. We thought about the things that are most important to us, someone said. Good, good. So you kind of thought about it first and then looked for the things that were important to you. Working with what we had was most of it. Yeah, you just kind of find, oh, I like strawberries, or oh, I like that. And that's a pretty picture and put it on there. If it makes you smile, then it ends up being a great collage. That's great. Good ideas. Okay, good. Okay. What did you do when there was something you couldn't find? What happened if you couldn't find something you wanted?
Sure. We drew ours.
Perfect. So you pulled out a crayon or a marker or a pencil and you just drew what you wanted to do. And I gave the example of the camera. I couldn't find a camera, so I just tried to sketch out a camera. Good job. Perfect. Being creative. I put animals because I love animals. I love, oh, health. Is it health? There's a charity. Health and charity. Someone said, Lauren said, created different words from letters in the magazine. Perfect. Yep, that's a great idea. We found something else that worked, or found a way to make it work from other pieces, like spelling out our names and spelling out words. Perfect. Great job. Yep, good answers. Okay, so what was it like describing your collage to the rest of the group? What was it like describing your collage to the rest of the group? So what comes to mind is, we're among all of our peers right now, which may or may not be, stressful or embarrassing. And then sometimes we're in different mixed age groups to where the younger kids may not want to go, or they may not, but we want to encourage them to maybe pair up with an older 4-H'er to help them and to do it together. And then they can talk together if it's something that talking in front of a crowd is something that they're afraid to do. So fun and easy because it was things that I care about. Awesome. Yeah, it's easy to talk about things that you really know, and it's something you know the best about. So my group already knows me pretty well, but I think this would be a nice icebreaker. Great idea. Great idea. And really, you can take about as much time as you'd like, make it a short activity or give it more time. Good, thank you. Thanks for those feedback. That's good stuff. So here's our hints in the information that we give you, the handouts. There's a hint. So look for opportunities to display the completed collages. Does anybody have any ideas of how, like maybe we get some mini 4-H'ers together to do this? Any ideas of what we can do with the collages when we're done? We might use this as a spark club, so we may display them at the fair. Ooh, great idea to display at the fair. We could display in the local extension office. Perfect. Great. Yeah. Great ideas. We could display them on the clover buds side of the 4-H building. Good. Hang on the wall like at our fairgrounds. Perfect. Bring these to 4-H meetings. We could also put them on our Facebook page. Oh, we've got social media in there. That's a great idea. And actually, you could even take a picture of the 4-H'er with their collage and put them on social media. That's a great idea. Somebody else says doing it with an icebreaker to learn about my students. If done in a school setting, it could be in a display case at the school or in the hallway. And then someone mentioned making sure we get permission to take photos of the 4-H'ers or any youth that you're working on, because we could maybe be in a school with some future 4-H'ers. Yeah. Permission before putting on social media. Yes. Very good point. These are great ideas. Or even take them home and hang them in your room and enjoy them in your own room at home as a piece of art. They really are a piece of art once you get finished up with them. Okay, any questions or any more sharing before we wrap up, before we end? So we want to explain that making the collage is a little bit like telling other people some of the things we want them to know about ourselves. And that's the beginning of the communication process, right? So the more we learn about each other, the more we can build on that and have fun together and learn together. So thanks everybody for participating in paper plate collage. Awesome.
Thank you, Cheryl. And just want to point out, Savannah had a good idea about putting it in a local library, her Newton County Library, but it could be elsewhere also. So that's pretty cool. All right, with permission,
love that.
And permission now, I'd like for everybody to turn on your camera and hold up your plates. This is going to be a great photo op with your permission, because this might appear on social media. So I'm going to get my little tool here that I can do this with. All right, so let me get that out of the way. Once I get to that point, all right, ready? We're going to ask you to hold it on the count of about 3. So 1, 2, 3, hold. And I'll tell you when it's okay to move. All right, you can move. Fantastic. Oh, that's a good one. We'll have to share that later, maybe, if I can figure out how to do that. Okay, now I got to get it to the right spot before I lose it. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional at this. Here we go. Okay.
Awesome. While Steve's saving that, let's do a stretch break where we all stand up. I've been sitting for a little bit, even though it was a very active session. Thank you for leading us in a paper plate. Let's all reach to the sky as high as we can go. And reach down low as you can go. You can go to your toes, to your knees, whatever is it's you do you. So one more time, all the way up as a tree. Maybe your tree starts to sway, a little windy. Woo. Oh, the hurricane's coming. Maybe it's really shaking. All right, and it's going all the way down again. Touch your toe. Okay, readjust your settings if you need to get a drink, if you need to clean up anything from your cutting in papers. We'll take 1 minute here to reset. 1 minute on my timer.
So Kathleen, as they're resetting and listening to you, why did you do that?
Good question, Steve. I did that just as a transition. I know we've been sitting, even though that was a very active session, you still were in place. And so I want to reset our minds, reset our okay, a transition from learning about yourself to now service learning. So it just helps reset the brain and get some wiggles out, especially if you are doing that's a great activity, I think, for some younger youth, as we had live examples here. So we want to make sure that they being active is, just nature, and we want to have it appropriate. So we want to get some wiggles out in between, and then we can settle in for, a 5-minute focus activity, and then we'll get up and keep moving. And as you've seen, oh, there goes my alarm. It's been 1 minute. We'll stop. It is just a good teaching technique to physically do something like getting up out of a chair. You could do a would you rather. Could, stay sitting if you would rather have pizza for lunch. Stand up if you want a peanut butter sandwich. Things like that. There's lots of examples out there of would you rather to get some movement as well. So that's why I did that.
Those are great reasons. I thought so, but I just want to make sure they heard you.
Right. No,
Good job.
That's right. No, it's all about teaching today. Yeah. So thank you.
So hopefully hopefully the things that we're doing today are ones that you can kind of model after. And we talked about in the teaching tip session of varying your teaching methods and presentation styles. And that's exactly what's happening today. So awesome. Thank you, Kathleen. You're up.
Wonderful. Yes, I'm Kathleen Bodie. I'm the Hamilton County 4-H educator. And I'm sorry, I've been in and out today. I've got 3 tracks of this Teen as Teachers, and we've had quite the technology debacle going on here with some internet outages, some Zoom backing out, some laptops needing battery cords, like who knew? So we're doing great. And so just in case you see a youth come around or that, it would just be at home with my own children. I've got some junior leaders and youth here that are also going in some different tracks. So we will try to accommodate all at the same time. But this session today is about choosing your cause. We know that one of our 4 H's is to serve. It's our hands to larger service. And so this next half hour or so is going to be kind of focused on that and how teen leadership can really help us make a big impact on our local community. So with my first question, I just want to know, what have you guys been doing this last year? During a pandemic, community service projects at club level, at county level have been changing. So on this slide, you can annotate, type on it. It is, if you go up by, if I could do that. We practiced this, and Steve, are you seeing how to annotate?
How about now?
How about now? Anybody seeing that? We have to go to the chat. Mine is so different right now. How?
It was there at first and now it's gone. So whatever you did, it took it away.
Darn Zoom updating. I mean, I'm sorry. It's because I came on. I've had technology. It's been quite the day, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not surprised. Annotate just disappeared.
Go to view options at the top.
Okay, good. So up at the top, you should have a drop down that says annotate, and you can text. So how have you, as a club, as a group, personally, community service projects during a pandemic? Go ahead and share those thoughts. We've got served at local food pantry, drive-through board game opportunity. Ooh, a rake and run. I would love to know more about that. What is a rake and run? Wes, is your group willing to share what's a rake and run? I've never heard of that.
Hi. So we got a list. Wes, how did we get our list of
it's just I think Carrie and Mrs. Mullins.
Okay. So one of our like our junior leader, she got a list of people who would like to have their yard raked or need it raked or whatever. And then the junior leaders drove around or sometimes ran around if it was like close enough and raked their yards for them.
That is a great socially distanced activity. I will steal that. Actually, I'm not going to say mine. I will be borrowing that. That is great. All right. Keep them coming on this. Someone else like to verbally share?
Our FFA chapter is making dog treats for our local animal shelter.
What are you making those dog treats out of?
We're not sure yet.
On those lines, we did dog toys and cat toys last summer for one of our junior leader conference activities where people brought a t-shirt or an old pair of jeans and cut them up and then braided them together and tied them off. And those would be ones that could be given to local animal shelters.
Love that. So maybe in a non-COVID world, see, do we save this? Have you saved it? Perfect. Go to the next slide. What are some ideas that have you participated in the past before that we may not have shared at the other slide? And you may have shared it before, but sometimes we had to think outside the box, like the rake and run to be socially distanced. But what are some ideas before when we can do things in a little larger scope? Yeah, the color runs.
Kathleen, we have some that might take some explaining. Is that okay?
Oh, go ahead, Abby. Take the floor.
Alrighty, so in the past we've done this thing called Moco rocks, and we take just like rocks and we paint them and we put like positive messages on them, and then we place them all around the community for people to find, and then we encourage people to like take a picture of it or something and put like hashtag Moco rocks when they post it on social media.
So tell us what MoCo means for those that don't know where you're from.
Moco means Montgomery County. It's just an abbreviation.
Perfect.
Another community service program, another community service project we did was we donated to the Animal Welfare League. So in the past, we have these junior leader walk-ins, and everybody who comes like brings a donation for the Animal Welfare League, and we do like a competition. So like the person who brings in like the most, they get like a little prize, and then we take that and we take it to them, and they really appreciate that, and it really helps them out.
Yeah, those little things add up so much.
At my school, we did the Riley week, like Spirit Week. So like bring $1 and you get to dress up a certain way.
Yeah, have fun along the way. That's always good. Well, thank you guys for sharing these. A couple more Riley blankets. Yeah. I see birthday bags. That intrigues me. What's a birthday bag?
So birthday bag, that would be something that you put together in a bag, all the ingredients that would be needed for a birthday party. And those would then typically be given to a local food pantry or a family that might be in need and otherwise not be able to provide a birthday party for their child. So that's kind of fun. We did that at Teens as Teachers about 3 years ago, I think now. As a big group, that was quite the ordeal, but you can do it as a smaller group too, and it works out quite nicely.
Yes, we have done those as well, and have for junior leaders like a certain letter of your last name, bring the cake mix and others, so that way we all, many hands make light work to have that. And so very cool. Well, these are great service projects, and how do we take them then to more to a service learning opportunity? And what that kind of means is wanting to know, help to choose your cause. So in your packet today, you have a handout called Choose Your Cause, and it has, the first page has this kind of yellowish boxes around it. And something as a Tina's Teachers group, we would like for you to think about diving deeper on these community service projects of why do we do what we do? Why did we do Riley blankets? Why are we doing birthday bags? There's a bigger cause to that and what we want to address. We don't want to just do it to say, oh, 4-H is doing something, like, but we are making impact on our local community. So this activity that we're going to walk you through, that is a teach back opportunity that you can use in many different ways. And I'll ask you where you might, what audience might this go to, but this is a user-friendly guide to think about your own personal passion. And then as a group, what can the group maybe go and dive deeper into? So the first is to investigate. Identify a local need, a national need, a global need in your community that you would like to address. So these are just some examples on this sheet of, you know, we take our water for granted. Like, you know, is there conservation efforts for restoring water, recycling, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle, energy, green spaces, disease commonly spread, you know, helping our some of our youth are helping with the COVID-19 mask up campaign and doing public service announcements for their local schools and for the 4-H program to share. So there's different things that you can think about. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to I'm going to set my timer again of what is something that you would like to do. What is your cause that you're like, I'd be interested in going and learning more about X. So I'm going to set my timer again for 1 minute, and you can talk amongst yourselves if you'd like, but this is more about what your cause is, and the next couple of pages will be more about group work. Okay, so sometimes we need to dive deeper into a cause, and there's so many resources out online of how do I find what my community needs are, or that. And the Indiana Youth Institute has a document called Kids Count, and I have mine for Hamilton County, and you can go there to kidscount.org, I believe, and we've shared that link before in our prep work of going and finding your county data. If there's a need of what is my food insecurities, what's our reading level response, education, has health statistics. So that way to know where, instead of assuming like, oh, this is a need in my community, you can go and you can research more, or also find an organization, because 4-H can't do it all by itself. So finding and partnering with the right organization as well helps out. Thank you for putting the kids, kidscout.org. Perfect. Next slide, Steve. So if we're going to spend time doing activity on your cause, and identifying your personal passion, what do you like to do? We've got art and writing and sports, because maybe you want to help something in the health field, maybe an artwork or a drawing for a local hospital to help to brighten a patient's room, researching how to do that, or giving a speech, because not everybody enjoys public speaking, but on a cause, as there's different issues that arise, maybe you can help formulate the that organization's marketing campaign and speeches and social media campaigns, because we need your skill sets in our organizations. So what are you interested in? There's a little 4 squares: your skills and interests, your knowledge, and interests of experience, and some character traits. So how will you use your personal passion to help that community need? I'll give you 1 minute to think about that, because I know I'm throwing a lot at you, and then we'll get to group work. I promise. Okay, next slide, Steve. So they've thought about an issue that they could address. You've thought about passions that you have. And there's different levels of getting involved in a community service or service learning opportunity. Is it an awareness just to educate the public and share information? Is it to serve and volunteer at a humane society, actually like go and do, or advocate for a cause, changing of policies and laws, or philanthropy, the gift and collecting of funds. We had the example of the Riley donate $1 and now I can be out of school uniform for that day, or have a fun wacky Wednesday outfit. So there's different ways that we do it. We don't realize, like, oh, it's awareness, it's service, it's advocacy, and it's philanthropy. Just we just do it here in the 4-H program. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. We're going to put all these pieces together. So we've got a community need, like we want to increase the amount of paper that is recycled at our schools. I've got personal passion. I've got a wood shop class. My community is going to help me by letting me utilize the tools and donate the wood. And I'm going to be direct service because I'm actually going to do something. So I'm going to create recycling bins with slots that's just for paper, because if you have it as an open trash can, people think it's a trash can. So that is an example of going through these steps that we just talked about quickly, of a well-rounded service project. Oh, ASAP. I didn't even notice that. Very good. Very good. Awareness, service, advocacy, and philanthropy. ASAP, as soon as possible. We can take action now. Thank you. So with that, I'm going to have you guys break out to your groups and talk about what can you guys do as a group, maybe, or what is something that you personally want to start here in the next month, 2 months. Sometimes we got to think short term. So don't go further out than 3 months, because who knows when summer hits. So what is something that you would like to take action on here in the next 3 months as a group, as a 4-H club, as something that you are actively involved in? So I'm going to set the timer for that for 5 minutes.
And I'll open the breakout rooms again so that Newton and DeKalb can be together. So here's your invitation.
All righty, that's 5 minutes. And I encourage you to sometimes put a clock on, because time flies when you are presenting, doing something, and you're like, oh my goodness. So sometimes you have to be respectful of people's time. So I do try to, when I say 5 minutes, I do like to use random times though, like 4 minutes and 32 seconds, or knowing that in your head, you're finally going to start probably talking at 5 minutes, but it's just fun. It's just a way to add fun. So this is the opportunity for you guys to share. I know that 5 minutes went like that. And but we had a great starting point before of what you guys were currently doing, even in the pandemic. You shared what you did even beyond the pandemic when we had limitations. So I would love to hear what you guys might are thinking that would make a good project here in the next couple months. So if you guys were raising hands or just unmute, I'm good.
One thing that I chose was green space, my cause, because a lot of our farmland around us right now is turning into housing additions. And so I was going to focus on putting more green space in our community instead of changing all that land over to housing additions.
You sure you're not here in Hamilton County? Because yeah, no, we have that too. But like once it becomes something else, like a subdivision or a real estate, I'm trying to say stores. Sorry, that land doesn't go. But thinking about how do we create some parks soon, some true green spaces or the walkways and added to it. So those are great discussions to have because it's hard to retro. Good job. Yes, Wes.
So we picked destructive decisions because in our community, that's a really big issue, especially in our schools. We went to the national convention last January, I think it was.
For healthy living.
For healthy living. And so in that convention, we kind of touched base on destructive decisions and how it's a problem in our community. We thought about having like an after school group, for kids who, pardon?
It was Be a Better You.
Yeah, we kind of named it Be a Better You. And so instead of like going to detention all the time, if kids are in there for disciplinary issues, they could come to our group instead. And we kind of talk about overall well-being. And then we also talk about mental and physical, really focusing on the physical and mental because it's kind of not as talked about. We live in a more closed-minded community. And so I think it's really important to talk about the effects that drugs.
Oh, you just muted. Unmute. Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened. Now you're back.
Okay. It kind of talks about, like we would talk about why drugs are bad for you and how to like reach out for help if you have those issues, because a lot of people are scared to admit to those things and won't reach out for help because they don't have a safe space for that. And we do all this in hopes that, you know, kids will feel safer in our community and more accepted. And if they do get down the wrong path, that it's okay to reach out for help and get better. You don't always have to stay on that path. They don't have to feel stuck in their situations. And so we just want to use this as like an open opportunity to improve as a community.
That's awesome. Thank you. And just think about if adding the statistics, understanding the baseline of what your community is, kind of community mapping it will help for some grant dollars to help sponsor that activity. So it's a known thing, but sometimes adding the stats behind it help with your cause. I see Dallas.
So ours that we picked, I picked first aid and he picked education. So we decided to put them together and have a class or like a presentation during like a 4-H meeting or a junior leader meeting about first aid and how to put together a first aid kit and how to use some of the stuff inside of a first aid kit properly.
I fully
It's
agree
awesome.
with
We
her
got some good 4-H curriculum on that too to help build what's the health project has that as I see head nods to help you a baseline. Hey, anybody else?
Kathleen, we got one in the chat from DeKalb County doing a food drive. So tell us a little bit more about that. Jonathan or anybody else from DeKalb.
I don't think they chose to jump in. So we were talking about the birthday bag kind of thing, and we thought that would be a really neat idea to do and take to our food pantries as well. And also just collecting food and that kind of thing. We also talked a little bit about collecting change and that kind of thing. It's a very simple thing to do to collect and fundraise for activity. If I didn't cover everything, guys, you can jump in.
I can talk about a little bit about the change thing, I guess. So I'm doing not through 4-H, but through a different organization. I am raising funds for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society right now. And I just did a penny drop challenge at an elementary school with about 150 kids. And they raised $3,000 in a week just by bringing in change and having that little, like all they're getting for a prize is ice cream. And just that tiny incentive, like pushed them to do so much. And they did so well.
Yes, the little motivators, the engine that could kind of really gets people going. So thank you all for sharing. And what a gamut that we have. And that's the cool thing, is that these are all needs and these are all different ways that we can make an impact. So hopefully this is just the start and you guys can truly take action. Take the next steps would be making a timeline of then who's going to do what or what research you're going to need. So this sheet just helps you to get started. And so hopefully that this is a usable tool that you can take to all the different audiences. So let's ask that. Where can you probably teach this service learning, choosing your cause activity?
At a 4-H or junior leader club.
Dallas.
At your local community center.
At your community center, yes. At schools, at the next Cloverbud meeting. Very good. Yeah, I think that this can go down to the Cloverbud ages, as well as your peers in the teen world, to help us. Youth leadership councils. Do it to activity to walk your volunteers through and help them think outside the box. So sometimes we do think of just, bring a can to the next meeting and that we can check that box of 4-H has done their service project. But as you can see, like, we can make so much more impact or can find a unique cause, our own personal passion, to utilize our gifts, talents, and treasures and help our own local community. FFA meetings, BASE, Boys and Girls Club, all great suggestions. Thank you, Boone County. Okay, with that is Choose Your Cause, Steve.
Fantastic, Kathleen. Look at that. You guys now have a start on some service opportunities, right? And so I'm gonna tease you here a little bit with something coming up this summer that not many people know about yet. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an insider information. We're doing some things that we call Indiana 4-H on the road, or Indiana 4-H Roadshow, this summer. One of those days is going to be focused on civic engagement. And as a part of that afternoon, you'll be working together in teams to develop your ideas for service. And so just like Kathleen got us started today, we're going to kind of pick up from here now that you've got some ideas generated, and how are you going to put that into action? So if that's something you're interested in, we're going to have dates and things available to you fairly soon, and we'll have locations for you about where this will be held. But it's going to be a one-day event at a location not too far from you, wherever you are in the state. It'll be within an hour or so drive or less for you. So be looking for that one. And if that's something that you're interested in, we would certainly encourage you to do that. Cheryl, Kathleen, or Katie, anything you would like to add before I do a couple of wrap-up slides? Okay, this is good. We have a little bit of time, which is what we wanted to do, to be able to wrap up a couple of other things. So let me go back to sharing a screen here for a moment. as we wrap up a couple of slides. And I need to find you again. Wanted to share with you a little bit more about the teachbacks that we talked about. So teachback is basically your chance to get some input or some feedback on lessons. So today we've had at least 4 different topics that you talked about. Some of those topics had more than one thing that you could turn into a lesson. And so what we want you to do as a team is to be able to think about what is it that you would like to start with. You're going to be able to talk about lots of different topics and teach lots of different things, but what is it that you would really like to start with for your presentation? And the first chance you're going to get to do that is with other teams that are getting trained today, just like you are. There are 6 total 6 tracks being led today. Team leadership is one of those. And so as you've heard from a couple of educators, they've got several multiple groups that are meeting together today in different track areas. And so on either March 9th or March 16th, we're going to give you another chance or a chance to come in and to be able to teach something to your peer groups. And so, for example, we might have a team leadership group from Boone County, we might have a healthy living group from Clark County, and maybe the animal biosecurity group from Montgomery County or wherever they're from. And those might be in a breakout room and you would teach to each other. So you would give your presentation for about 7 to 10 minutes. Then you would get some feedback from the other teams that are in your group and you would rotate. So the next group would present and you would give them some feedback. So that's your chance. We've got 2 different dates that we've set up Zoom meetings for, again, on Tuesday, March 9th or Tuesday, March 16th. Your adult mentor and your teams, you can decide when that's going to work best for you. And then you would just join whichever one you would like to join. And you'd be able to, we'll put you in a breakout room and you'll present, you'll listen to a couple of others, and then you'll be done for the evening. So a little bit of structure, but it's going to be fairly free flowing as well. So we're looking forward to that evening. Specific details about the links and those types of things are going to be coming out in an email later this coming week. So be on the lookout for that as well. And I'll give you some information there. Teachbacks, you're not necessarily going to be able to provide all the supplies that the other folks will need. So think about that. If there's ways that they can have some supplies on hand, perhaps, or maybe they just are going to be able to show you what it is that they're doing, that would also be an option. So be thinking about how you might like to do those. Like to ask if there's questions about the teachback procedure. You have something that you would like to say either in the chat or if you want to ask it out loud, you can do that. So the question is, do the teams meet together to present? I think that would be ideal, but we also know that life isn't ideal right now. So the ideal thing would be is that you at least are on at the same time and that you'd be presenting. And so if you needed to be at different locations, you could alternate in terms of who's going to be presenting where, and we'll get you into the same room so that you can be together as a team at least that way. But if you can be together, that would be our first preference if that works for you. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that one. Other questions you might have? Looks like there's one in Newton County. What have you got?
What exactly are we supposed to be teaching on? Like, is it the stuff that we've learned about, or can we teach about something else?
I would pick one of the lessons that we led this morning. You will be doing things beyond those, probably as a teen teacher group, beyond the ones that we taught today. But I would start with those because we know that you've got the information for that and the lesson plans and those types of things. And for the most part, they don't require much in terms of supplies. And so that would be something that is a little easier for you to teach. So I would focus on one of those, work together with your teammates, decide what it is that you would most like to teach, and that would be what your teach back is. And yes, if you chose the, oh, I'm sorry. Did you have something else, Newton County?
No.
Okay.
I think you just said thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Sorry, I was talking over you there. Okay, another good question. If you wanted to lead the paper plate activity, probably you would walk through that activity. However, as Cheryl talked about, you could use paper without paper plates. You could use pencils if you didn't have things they could draw. So there would be a way, I think, that you could still have them participate without providing them many materials. You could talk about how they could do it if they were leading it where you had the opportunity to give them supplies. So I think that would work as well. Cheryl, anything you wanted to add for that piece?
I don't think so.
And Heather, you've asked a good question too about that same type of an activity. Probably not much of a way that we can communicate ahead of time in terms of what supplies they would need. So either showing them what it's actually going to look like or having them pull together a few supplies that they might have on hand, either at home or the office, wherever it is they're meeting, would work that way as well. Okay, so we're going to give you a couple of minutes before we leave today. If you want to continue to talk as teams, we'd encourage you to do that. Again, for those that are not together, that we'll open the breakout rooms again for you. So if you want to do a little bit of talking before we leave, we'll let you do that, as we're going to finish up a little bit before 12:30, which is not a bad thing at all. Let me move next to something that we have for you that's kind of a new thing. If you were in one of our general sessions that Madison Powell was a part of, when she talked about some of the tips to be successful, one of those things that she mentioned was to have some business cards. And so we now have a template for you, and that template is listed there. And we'll also share these slides with you too. But if you'd like to take a look at that link, it is there at the bottom of your screen. And Cheryl, if you get a chance to type that into the chat for me, that'd be awesome. But these are editable business cards. You can put on there your name, you can put on there your county if you want to be specific in terms of the track that you've taught. If you want to list your other team members and your adult mentor, this just provides you with some something that you can give to someone who might be interested in having you and or your group talk at their program coming up. And so we always want to encourage you to go out in groups of at least 2. We ask that the teams in general are between 3 and 5 in size. We don't want you to have to teach on your own. And that's uncomfortable and not always the safest. So we want you to be together with somebody else. So if you wanted to go out with a teammate and teach, this is again something that you can share with them that hopefully is going to be useful to you, that you can utilize. It is on Canva, so if you don't have an account for that, you can create a free account on Canva. You can edit those and save those and print those as you need to. Also want to let you know with this slide that in the next week, again, there's going to be an email coming to you and to your mentors and educators with some additional information. When you registered with us, whether or not you know it, you provided a shirt size. And that was so that we can eventually get to you a polo shirt that's going to look something like the one I'm wearing today, because we want you to be able to go out as you go out and kind of look the same. And so we'll be able to, we call it branding in the 4-H world, but we want you to look like a 4-H presenter when you go out. And so we will be asking for you to confirm your shirt size. And then hopefully by the end of this month or shortly thereafter, we can get those shirts ordered and sent to you in the extension office so that you can get those from your educator and do those. So please be looking for that email that comes out, and we will get that shirt to you. Any questions on business cards or shirts? Okay, if you have them, you can type them in the chat. We want some feedback this morning. And so Cheryl, if you would help me out one more time with one more link. We would like some feedback from this morning session. We would also like for your feedback from the 3 Tuesday evening sessions that we offered. As we all know, this is a different way to present teens as teachers. We know that parts of it, I think, have been very well, and other things we would like to do back in person again when we're in the future. So we would like to get your feedback. So if you could give us a few moments of your time, there's not a lot of questions. I don't remember the number. There's not a lot, I promise. But if you would be able to do that, to give us that feedback, ideally before you leave, because I know when you leave wherever you are now or turn this program off, you're going to forget to do that. And we want to know what you think. So please give us a few moments. The link is there in the chat that Cheryl has done. If you have a personal device, a smartphone, you can put that right in there and do it right now. And that would be awesome for you. Now, that little picture on there is supposed to work. It didn't work for me. If it does for you, that's great. You can use that as well. But that's supposed to be a QR code or something along those lines. So we do thank you for offering that. We'll see if it works for David on his phone. Did it work? It worked. See, you have a smarter phone than I have. That is awesome. Okay, so we'll give you a couple minutes to take a picture of that little circle before I move on to the next slide. And Abby, it worked for Montgomery. See, it's just me. And that's okay. All right, I'm going to move on to the next slide. This just means we need to be nice to one another. That's what that slide means. So that's there. So thank you for doing that today. And here is the one I wanted to share with you. Look at that. There you all are from a few minutes ago with Cheryl's paper plate collage activity. Looking good. Lots of cool photos there and cool plates that you guys created for that. So appreciate that very much. All right, as I wrap up my part for this morning, I would just like to thank Cheryl and Katie and Kathleen for presenting for us today. Really do that very much. We will get that picture out to everyone so you'll be able to see that also. But also want to thank each of the teams and the adult mentors that are there with you. Thank you so much for being a part of our teen leadership track today. And we're looking forward to seeing all the great things that you're going to be able to do as you guys work together in the future to be able to deliver some of these programs that you talked about. There's lots of great ideas that you shared back and forth. And so I know you're going to do some really, really cool things as we go. So what I will do now is I'm going to open up the breakout rooms. If DeKalb and Newton want to take a few moments to talk about your teachbacks or other things that you need to talk about, the same for the others that are meeting in person. If you want to think through some things that you would like to do, I'll keep this open here for, let's see, we'll go about 10 minutes. If you need longer than that, you can let me know in a chat and we will go from there. So thank you so much. There comes the room opening. Really appreciate your time today. And I want to go back to the picture of the evaluation slide. So just in case you didn't get that, you can still take a picture of that too. So thanks all. Have a great day.